Today we are here to introduce our new workshop, and the workshop is about new age children and the parents of new age children. Today with me is Tania Pirilidou. She's a lawyer, she's an author, and she's much more than that. And my friend.
Above all.
And she has a lot of questions about this.
And a parent of two.
Now you said the child becoming the aggressor. That
Yes.
question, the fourth question.
Yes, the child becomes the aggressor and becomes dominant and dominates the house, sets the domestic mood from the moment they wake up, from the good morning until the good night. Often parents ask and feel intimidated around the child having a tantrum or a meltdown, and therefore choose to stay in the house. So indirectly or directly, it is the child that decides where the family goes, what the family does, how the family does it, for how long the family will stay, where it is. So what happens when the child invites you to that battle through the tantrums, which perhaps the parent has caused or allowed and encouraged to happen, or perhaps it's the inherent nature of a child to test your limits once they reach a certain age. I don't know which one of those two applies.
Yeah, but you already actually show that you expect the worst. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you tiptoe already around your child.
Yes.
Yeah, so like the child knows that it has power.
Mm-hmm.
Because you tiptoe.
So the first time it happened, though, surely the child, there's no precedence, it's never happened before, and the child is gobsmacked and like shocked at that tantrum happening. So how do you stop it right at the beginning? Or how do you stop it now that it's become a habit?
Like tantrums and that all kinds of things is better than to ignore. You turn around. Because actually, especially when it's in your house, it's safe there. Yeah, but even when a child actually brings himself rolls over the floor in a supermarket, when you actually give it attention, it becomes more. So turn around, walk away.
I find that you're right, because with Aria, I had more time or patience to sit down and explain, or grab her and pull her and explain. And with Aloy, because the circumstances are so, I have less time or patience, I just let her there, and as she's crying out of the blue, she'll just wipe her tears and just get up.
Yeah, no attention, no audience, and it actually goes away.
Yes, it disappears.
Yeah. And as long as we give it a presence and we pay attention, it's next time like her weapon to use it. And you start tiptoeing, and then she feels she's in control, and you feel I'm not in control, and there you have like the frustration.
Often I see my father trying to take her mind away, saying, "Oh, look at that bird."
Yeah, it's also a way.
Is it also a way though, or are you still entertaining? Because you're trying, there's an effort.
You ignore totally, and you're focusing, you focus on the bird maybe, and then say like, hi, and then not actually paying attention what happens there.
And if it continues, do you actually state to your child that this is it, I've had enough, I'm going to close the door and go? No, or do you not even say that?
No, because it shows that you are angry, so she has you right away where she wants you. You're involved in her battle.
Are you not honest and allowed to state that this I don't approve of, this shouting and crying I don't like?
You ignoring it is already that you disapprove. And you don't actually when something goes on first, yeah, you don't actually pay not attention to it. But when the outcome is so extreme, that you ignore.
You don't convey dislike.
No, but you have to see how you have built up this situation. Yeah? And some children actually try it only out to see how you react. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So, of course, you always keep an eye on your child, but ignoring, I mean, is that you don't pay attention to...
To activate it.
Yeah.
To fuel it.
Yeah.
You hear also comments of, when you're crying, when you're behaving like that, I don't like you. And in a way that's honest, because you don't, and you're saying the truth. And essentially you want to build a mutual communication.
But it's the way how you say it. When you say to your child, when you cry, I don't like you, or when you shout, I don't like you.
I love you, but I don't like you.
And you have this kind of anger with it, then it's scary for a child because it can lose your love. Yeah, at that time.
I love you, but I don't like you?
It's too complicated when you're 4 years old.
Okay. So ideally, again, then show dislike through just silence.
Yeah, but also like saying like, you feel not okay, and then I also don't feel okay, so we don't do this. Simple as that.
And if the crying continues, you say nothing else?
No. When the crying is about like that something has happened, then you hold it, you keep it safe.
Yes. Yeah? Okay, but if it's out of irrationality.
But when it's crying and the anger is there, then you ignore it.
But people say there's never irrationality. Children, something it might be trivial to you, but to them it's important, and it expresses an inner need that perhaps you don't see.
But then we come to that point that nowadays everybody thinks that the child should be pampered in that sense, from like there's something going on, the need of the child.
As if they're a patient.
Yeah. So when you as a mother know that there's something going on with your child, something happened at school, or they have pain, and you actually at that time you are present there for
then you
them.
know.
Then you know. But when it's about like getting my way or give me attention, yeah, that is not actually how.
But there's that theory that says a child can never be manipulative because their intentions are pure. They do it unintentionally, perhaps. Is that so?
Are you agreeing on that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Does it depend on the level of intellect of the child?
A child always tries out. Yeah, I don't say on purpose, but it tries out. Because actually that is the growing process. When you never try things out, you never know what's going on. Yeah, and you can call it manipulating. In the end, it becomes manipulating when they know, oh, when I do this, this happens.
It's produced a result.
Yeah.
I catch a fish.
Yeah. And then we say like, oh, that child manipulates me. No, as a parent, you have allowed it. You gave the result, and the consequence was that you gave in, maybe. So don't blame the child. Okay, we had some. You said
so
an umbrella mode of existence.
So if we were to have an umbrella mode of existing, a consistent, persistent attitude that each parent makes peace with and deals with different issues, what would you say that mode is? And I'm going to run you through different happenings
Okay.
to tell me your response. But first tell me your umbrella mode from your experience as a mother.
As an umbrella mode, you actually know what you actually want from your child. So you want to have this nice child that actually adjusts in this world easily. So first of all, look at yourself. How much do you actually
have that flexibility?
Has that flexibility. What is your resilience in that way? So are you confident about your best intentions with your child? That's the first thing. And then being consequent about things.
You tapped into the right word, confidence. Lots of people lack parents lack the confidence on how they parent. And then they end up in more mistakes than if they approached any issue with confidence, that they're doing the right thing.
But when you actually receive a child in this world, that child actually chooses his parents, not you choosing that baby. But from the first moment that you have this child in your arms, you love that child. You don't say like, oh, role model, I don't want this one. Yeah? You're right away actually like loving and caring about that child. That's your confidence. It's especially there. Your bond together is special. Your bond together is meant to be.
That bond though, that very bond, is what becomes the weakness of the parent, because they admire and love that child so much that they sacrifice too much, and the house becomes very child-centered.
So you become the pleaser.
Yes.
Yeah, so, well, when you actually have this baby, it makes you responsible for this baby to bring it up in the right way. Loving and caring and being confident about it, that you can do it because it's your child. So what you said about like a lot of families are child-friendly.
Child-centered.
Or child-centered.
Yes.
I believe that, but then you become the pleaser of your child.
Yes.
And that's not helpful for the child, because it gets a kind of world idea from like everybody has to help me out, everybody is there for me only. So you don't raise a child that actually...
And there's a pressure on the child to be constantly that perfect child, that Muppet that performs.
Or it becomes like a kind of aggressor.
Yes.
Because actually like that child is the only one important there.
Yes.
Everybody has to be bowing his head
the
all
world
the time.
revolves around them.
Yeah.
And that's the wrong message, which you do so inadvertently, so innocently and with good intentions. Mentioning how it's the intention that matters.
But as a parent, you're waking up when you actually see the tantrums coming. Yeah?
Yes.
When you see actually all this kind of behavior that you don't like.
Yes.
And every time when you say, I don't like this, you have to realize like it's an outcome of my own way raising this child.
Yes.
Taking the full responsibility, when you see a child of 4 years old, how it moves and goes his way, that you take as a parent responsibility to actually to see clearly what is my impact in there.
And it's essentially it's about growing with the child and changing and adjusting, because yes, you might have this eyes of admiration and that glimpse of love when they're in the angelic baby mode, but then you should be flexible in becoming perhaps more authoritative as they grow.
Yeah, you don't get a manual, doesn't come with a manual, doesn't come with a suitcase, Pampers and a diploma.
Yes.
So it's in a way the child depends on you, yeah, and that is the big responsibility we have to realize that the child actually like sees you as the role model. So you have to work on yourself as a parent to make that like working in a way that you think like, I love always this child.
So without increasing in any way the guilt in the parent, any kind of misdemeanor or misbehavior on the part of the child should trigger ring a bell onto the parent that there should be something they need to work on within them.
Yeah, like when we have the responsibility for the child, I always say like, you love your child. Even when your son shoots 15 students in a school, the mother still loves that child. So what you have as a parent is this unconditional love to your child. But it doesn't make you the pleaser. It doesn't make you the one who has to bow your head in for that child. It gives you the responsibility to really to look at yourself and say, what is the best thing what I can do for this child? And sometimes that is the yes and no's there, and keeping your promises and being honest and being present.
And sticking to your rules.
Yeah.
To teach them how to stick to their own rules out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Over this entire scope of issues, there is definitely two parents, and it takes two to tango. Yeah. And if in an ideal world, I or the listeners have understood and adopt lots of the things you said, there's also the other parent, the other partner.
Yeah.
How would you say we should deal with the situation when working together as a team is not so feasible? There's two different opinions at the same time.
But that is actually the base of your whole, like raising his kids, that you are a team, and that you have to be consequent in the decisions you take. So when your no is no, your husband's no is also no. Yeah, so you can't do this on your own, because actually when you are the most consequent parent there and your husband says like, oh, okay, then
but
already...
how about when the other parent is just incapable of tuning in to that authoritative, calm, balanced state of being?
But when you do so, your husband will do the same thing.
Eventually,
yeah.
We shouldn't stress too much, because it will fall into...
Yeah, or take the lead at that time and say like, and say like, take a cup of coffee, I handle it. Yeah.
And perhaps the
But
weaker
not-
parent should say, let's discuss it with your mother, I will not.
Or what is the answer of your mom?
But that makes the mother look like the monster, or like it's her fault because eventually she's the deciding person.
No, but when your husband knows that you always actually inform him what you say, or he's there what you say, and he only has to follow up. Even when he doesn't like it, even when he has a different opinion, at that time you stay with your partner. It's also when he actually decides to avoid something or to say no to something, you also follow. So it's not about like that you first discuss this, but you actually see what the other one is doing and you agree. As long as your child is there, you agree. Not actually having the discussion in front of your child of like, no, I shouldn't do that, no, don't do it. Yeah. Because when they see that there is already a struggle going on, they go to the one who say yes.
Divide and rule.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if you want to talk a bit more about this, a spiritual touch to it. More like the spirits that come down on earth nowadays. I mean, I'm going a bit big on some people that are not so spiritual, but
I think like we are all spiritual beings. And so for some it will be a more kind of enlightened path than for the rest of the people. But I think that you have to deal with yourself and finding your own way of bringing your spirit out. And the more you do that with love and care, and also in your approach to your children, you raise them to do the same thing.
Are you optimistic with the new generation?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Despite this new age fallbacks and errors that perhaps we make, are you optimistic that we're raising a good generation?
Absolutely. Because actually we choose actually parents that give them the best at that time. In the sense of like, it's not actually coincidence that you are together. And you learn enormously also from your children. You learn enormously about yourself from your children.
Yes.
And the more you actually like share that with them in the end, then you raise a fantastic generation.
Do you think?
Absolutely.
Wow.